Hello! Welcome to a very long overdue episode of Yarn Talk with Princess Tigerbutton. My name is Jamie. I am the creator behind Princess Tigerbutton. This is a yarn business, a crochet business, and sometimes knit business that I've run for the last 10 years. On my channel here, I try to post some little updates about what's going on with the business, little crafty things that I'm doing. We talk about markets and other things as they come up. If you like that kind of content and want to follow us, feel free to like, subscribe, share with your friends. All of these things are free and really help my channel grow. I apologize, it's been a long time since I've posted anything, and I've actually probably recorded what could have been 2 more episodes and didn't get them up. So we're doing kind of like a fresh reset, and eventually I will get all the market videos up. I'm going to try doing the more recent ones first, because what I've come to realize is that I was doing much better when I record and then immediately go into editing. I think the biggest problem for me, especially with executive dysfunction, is giving myself time to say, oh, well, I'm going to edit that later, or, oh, I'm going to get this footage, and I'm going to get that footage, and then I'm going to edit it, because then editing time never happens. Right now, I've been really in crunch time in terms of crafting things. I'm doing a lot of events, and I didn't have a lot of inventory built up before then. So I'm having to crochet in between events, and that takes a lot of time away from editing. It takes away a lot of time from social media marketing and things like that, putting things up on our Shopify. Yes, we do have a Shopify, princesstigerbutton.com, but again, it's just another one of these things that Jamie is not good at doing consistently. And I know a lot of that is my ADHD. It comes as no surprise is that tasks that don't give you a lot of dopamine, like menial tasks like posting on social media, setting up listings on Etsy or on Shopify, things like that, don't bring me a lot of joy, a lot of dopamine, excitement. And you might think, well, of course, Jamie, people don't want to do things that aren't exciting. But it's a lot harder for someone with ADHD to do those things because, like, our brains are, dopamine is in the negatives. Like, a normal person can just say, well, I need to do X, Y, Z today. And maybe X and Y aren't exactly fun tasks, but they just get up, they get it done. They know it's not going to take them that long, and they do them. For somebody with ADHD, that can feel like a mountain. And you might see us sitting down, scrolling on our phones, or not even doing anything at all, or crocheting endlessly. And you might think, well, geez, they're avoiding, they're procrastinating, they're lazy. We're not. Because our inner monologue the whole time is, we need to be doing the task. We need to be doing the task. Come on, Jamie, why can't you just get up and go do the task? You know it won't take you very long. Just go do the task. And meanwhile, your body is just not processing any of those signals. And you're not moving any closer to getting the task done. Is this something that I could get potentially remedy with medication? Possibly. I don't have health insurance right now, so I don't have the money to go see a doctor or potentially go see a psychiatrist, which could be more money, which may not be, even if I had insurance, may not be within my coverage. And so that's just something that's not getting addressed right now, but could be in the future. I haven't ruled that out entirely. The other thing is my shoulder, as I happen to be rubbing it, has been getting a little bit worse. And again, with no insurance, I could scrounge up money to see a doctor, but the minute they say, oh, we need an MRI, because I believe I have a potential partial rotator cuff tear, I don't have money for an MRI, any of that stuff. So I might look into some alternatives. I might look into see if I can get on our state's subsidized healthcare. I haven't tried it yet because I was afraid we're being self-employed, that the rules would be different. It'd be one thing if I was working a regular W-2 job and not making a lot of money, but being self-employed, I expect the rules are going to be different, just like they are for everything else. But that's something that I'll look into and I'll think about, because I don't like, not to mention I will pay a hit on my taxes for not having insurance, but the tax penalty is cheaper than what it would cost me to pay for insurance out of pocket. So there's that. What am I doing? I am making another dinosaur hoodie bear. I'm starting here on the hood. I have one already made right here with his little teeth on the hood, and he's got little eyes. And the pattern didn't come with spikes, but I added spikes because it's dinosaur, it needs spikes. And Mark has already decided that he wants this, so I'm making a second one. So I'll have one to bring to AnimeCon this weekend. Yes, it is Sunday morning right now. We only have a few precious days left. Set up for AnimeCon is on Friday, so I really, for the most part, am going to have to be done Friday in terms of whatever I'm going to bring. So I've been kind of trying to make some extra anime adjacent items. Let me just put this guy out of the way. I did make another strawberry bear since my other strawberry bear sold. I made a panda. I don't love it. It was tough to make the color changes. By the way, this is the hoodie bear pattern by Nooks Hooks. I love this pattern. It's so well written. It's so versatile. The pattern pack comes with different variations of the hoods. You can make a chicken, a duck, a dino, or a frog. In fact, I have a frog handy. This frog is one of my top sellers. This is probably like the third frog bear I've made. And I'm actually going to make another one just so I have a backup in case this sells this weekend. Initially, Mark wanted a frog bear. Then when he saw the dino bear, he wants that instead. So I have to make another dino bear. And I have to make some mini dinos. And I really have to make everything. But real briefly, why I say I don't love this panda is I don't love the messiness on the eye patches. But I didn't want to make them separate and sew them on because I didn't want them to be raised from the face. I thought that would look worse, actually. So this is the way it's going to be. It's kind of horrific looking. But, yep, I did kind of make a little strawberry with a little thing on the front. So I thought that would be cute and kind of anime adjacent. So that's coming with me. I've also made, you might have seen on my Instagram, I made this little taiyaki ice cream, and I actually made a second one in like a mint color. But I feel like they need something. I think I'm going to embroider a face. Like that is the fish eye. But I think I'm going to embroider a face on the ice cream part. And maybe add like a little cherry or something. Some little fruit, cherry or strawberry or something just to jazz it up a little bit. Or maybe like a fruit on one and chocolate on the other. I haven't quite decided. I don't know how that's going to work out, but they will get little faces. So I have to embroider it since they're already closed up. But I thought these came out a lot larger than I expect them to be. So hopefully maybe somebody will dig it. Like I said, I'm making another dino hoodie bear. Oh, I did make a dango with little faces. I didn't want to make 3 sets of safety eyes. I thought that was a little bit much. So I made 3 different little faces. And for some reason, the green ball came out way bigger than the others. But I don't know if I'm going to make another one. I might make one just to have a couple. But hopefully that'll be cute. And I have to make some more rice balls because I only have 2 left. And I have 2 sushi cats. I don't have any more trays. So that's just going to be what it is. And I think that'll be the extent of my like anime foods. Actually, I have a little pattern for some dumplings. And I know dumplings are like the viral thing right now. So like, I don't know if I really want to get that deep into it. Because it's all like blind box stuff. I know some crocheters are already jumping on that train. Same thing with the hacky sacks. I am planning on making some hacky sacks. I did last year, and I don't know, I need nylons or something to hold the pellets in because they were coming out of the hacky sacks last time. But I know they're having a big moment right now, so I will definitely be making more. Because my next... Yeah, actually, I might have them for my next fair, because the next event after AnimeCon is going to be Ocean State Card Con on the 14th. And I will have the space to be able to put some extra items out, I believe. I think I have like a 10 by 10 space. So I'll be able to put out a couple extra tables like I did last year in December. And maybe I'll put out some hackies. So there. I'll have to see what I've got for cotton colors. And actually, I'm kind of looking forward to this. I wanted to use up that cotton. But then after that, a couple weeks later, on the 27th, is our town Pride Festival. And that'll be definitely like my first really, not our first outdoor fair of the year, but like our first like big kid event. I think that in the center of town that I think is going to do well. I did well with the hacky sacks there before. So that'll be exciting. But meanwhile, we're just floating along. Things have not been easy. I definitely think that the economy has been hitting us hard in terms of being able to make enough money. And I sit here a lot of days wondering, like, who am I to be selling crochet plushies when people are struggling with gas and food and, necessities? I don't sell a necessity. But what's funny is that, I've tried selling hats and market bags and things that are, still not necessities, but could be more of a necessity, more useful, and they don't sell. Not even a hair scrunchie. That's the one that bugs me the most, is like, I see people selling scrunchies like hand over fist constantly. I can't get them to sell at all. Whether I jack the price up, whether I drop the price down, I just cannot get them to move. And I'm sitting on a whole bunch of yarn that I could use for scrunchies. I have a whole bunch of Parfait Chunky, and now I have some yarn from Hubby. I was going to do a video on that too. I don't even think I've shown you the yarn I got from Hobby, because I was going to lump that in with talking about Hobby in general, because unless you've lived under a rock, they've definitely come under fire lately for their stances around AI. And so I made this mistake of buying a bunch of yarn there, chenille yarn there on a sale that said it was a 6 weight, and it's definitely like the size of Parfait Chunky, so it's a lot thinner. So it won't play well with my Burnett blankets and my loops and threads. So now I'm sitting on a whole bunch of yarn I'm not sure what to do with because it's that thinner weight. I was going to hold it for scrunchies because it's just the right size for that, but my scrunchies aren't selling, so why would I want to make more if I can't sell the ones I got? I still have a whole bunch of Juicy Couture yarn for scrunchies that I haven't made up yet, but the stuff's not selling, and I don't know how to make it sell. I'm kind of at a loss for that. But, yeah, so I got to find something else to do with all that thinner yarn. I thought about making some small plushies or keychains or something, maybe something for like a blind box. But I don't really want to be managing 2 whole sets of inventory of yarns, because I'm probably not going to buy more of this stuff. So, I don't know. I'll come up with something on that, but it's probably not going to be on the front burner right now. Right now, I'm really just focused on making sure I've got enough inventory. I'm expecting to sell a lot of very small things in Artist Alley at AnimeCon, just because I think people are going to be really broke once they've paid their. I don't know. When people talk about that, I see people that say like, oh, well, I would never vend at an event that charges money to come in, blah, 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 blah. People aren't going to want to buy anything. And then by the same token, you think if you're going to pay a few bucks to get into an event for shopping, then you are planning to shop. And to a degree, that the same could be said about like conventions and stuff, because those are people that are going to have disposable income to spend. But even then, I think that disposable income is going to be very limited this year. And that's what I've been seeing from people that have already put out what they've done from cons and stuff. They've done well, but they haven't done as well as previous years, this sort of thing. So I expect that a lot of people might want to support many artists and will buy small things versus buying any larger pieces. But I still want the larger pieces. I'm still going to have them to attract people to our booth. We did get our the site map already for our place at AnimeCon. I got that about a week ago. So we are really kind of like, the way they've got it set up is like there'll be concessions on one side, and I believe that's where people are going to be entering through. The back wall is going to be panels, like guests and stuff where they're going to be setting up for signings and whatnot. Actually, I think panels might even be in a separate room. But there's going to be vendors all around. And then the Artist Alley is actually going to be right in the center. And we're pretty much smack dab right in the middle of it. So I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for us. This is my first time doing AnimeCon in Providence. So I'll have more to say about that after we do it, and after I see how well traffic actually flows to our table. So there's that. And that's the thing. I need to get better at going right from recording, right into editing and posting, maybe even the same day. And I think that's the only real way I'm getting content out, is trying to build up content, like you may be recording a little bit each day and then putting out a week's worth of videos in one isn't working for me. I tried that and I lost it like the same day. It's really tough. My nature is not to share on social media. So like, it's not, I have to think, I have to actively choose these things versus just going along, making my stuff, doing what I got to do. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to really build this up, because how else are you going to see like what's going on behind the scenes if I don't show it to you? But I mean, at the same time, I can't show it to you without showing you the parts of me behind the scenes that are hindering that progress. And that would be my ADHD. We have a lot of that in this family, so we see all the squirrels. So it's really is just kind of like a process of trying to help each other and pick up where others are procrastinating, and it's a delicate balance. It really is. But that's neither here nor there. In other news, my youngest Zachary graduated on Tuesday. That was exciting. I'm so proud of him. He graduated from Voc School just like my oldest did, just like I did, and Mark both went to Voc Schools. We went to different schools, but so Zachary just completed the culinary program there, which is really exciting. He's always had a little bit of passion for cooking ever since he was a kid, and I'm really excited to see him take that further and build something for himself. I'm excited to see where he goes with that. He's also really passionate about art. He draws and animates characters, and he's had his own YouTube channel for a few years now for that. So I'm really interested to see how he might incorporate those passions into something. Or he might just continue to do both separately. Who knows? The sky is the limit for this kid. But he did it. He graduated, and now we're on to the next chapter of life there. I never thought I'd be saying that. My baby has graduated high school, and in about a month, on July 1st, he will be 18. And so I will successfully raise 2 whole-ass adults. That is exciting. But, so yeah. Trying to think of what else I have to cover. It's just a lot of stuff, just trying to make things, trying to work through my yarn stash here a little bit. I know I'm already putting together a short list of things I need to order again. I think I have some footage from my last Yarnspirations yarn haul that I haven't put that up either. I'll try to get that updated and up on the channel shortly, just to try to keep up with things. But I think a lot of what I've recorded in the last few weeks is probably, other than market videos, is pretty much just going to be just put to the side for now, and we're just trying to fresh reset, just so I can try to not have a backlog and just get things out quickly. Yeah, so the rest of this coming month, like I said, after AnimeCon, which is going to be this Saturday and Sunday, is going to be Ocean State Card Con on the 14th, which is a Sunday, and then our town, North Attleboro Pride Festival on the 27th. And that's pretty good. I'm not trying to squeeze anything else in there. I don't have much booked in July, but we are doing Foodies Fest July 17th, 18th, and 19th. And I think that's going to be enough to focus on, because that's going to be a 3-day festival. It's really put up for... It's hard for me to explain what it is. This is their first time coming to New England, but they talk about it being like a tour. So I think there's some food trucks and things that actually literally tour different venues with them. And maybe some crafters too that just tour. And I don't have that kind of time or energy to devote to touring around the country to try to sell my stuff. But they do try to incorporate a lot of local vendors and local crafters in each place that they go to. So we're set up. They're actually doing 2 in Mass. I want to say the weekend of the 11th and 12th, or maybe 10, 11, 12, is going to be in Wrentham, which is actually closer to me, but I wanted a little more lead time, especially since I didn't know this event or how it was going to go. And they're going to be doing one in Auburn, which is actually where Mark lives. And so we're going to be doing that one. That's going to be in the parking lot of the Auburn Mall. So it's going to be hot. I'm glad we got more tent weights, because we're not going to be able to put stakes in the ground, because it's going to be in the parking lot, obviously. My biggest concern there is that people are going to be coming for the food and not so much to buy crafts. And then I got to worry about people coming into my booth and touching my plushies with food hands. So we'll make sure we've got plenty of wipes, plenty of hand sanitizer stationed around, and we'll just have to monitor it. But I'm hoping that will do well. So I figured giving myself a couple weeks rest, as much as I did want to try to do some other events in July, I think giving myself a couple more weeks for that might be a good idea, because that way I have plenty of time to really fully prep. And I really would like to get ahead of my inventory, because the fall will be quite busy, and we do have other big events coming up. I have a couple of things booked into September or that I have to finish booking that I'd like to do. October, we signed up for a 4-day festival. We're going to be doing Autumn Fest in Woonsocket, which is a very well-established fair. And it's actually probably one of the Rhode Island's biggest fairs for food and crafts and whatnot. So it's exciting to be part of that. But that's going to be 4 long days. So I want to make sure I have plenty of inventory for that by October. I'm still holding out for some of the holiday events we did last year to come around again. Like, I'd really like to do the Fall River Carousel again. We did great there for our first annual, and people really responded well to it. So I'm really hoping that we'll be able to do that again this year. And the same thing with downtown Pasco for the Victorian Market. We did really good there, and just we were freezing, so we'll be better prepared for the cold weather this year. And that's all I can think of for today. So I'm just going to keep trucking along, trying to build up as much inventory as I can. I will try and record again before Friday so I can kind of show where I'm at, because I need to recount my inventory just to make sure everything's up to date and correct and square. I'm usually pretty good about having everything in square, and I usually add it as soon as I finish it, so it's already in there. But things happen, and sometimes things don't get rung in right, either because maybe we were too complicated with colorway names and me or Mark were just trying to ring quickly, or sometimes people wanted to exchange for a different color and we didn't get a chance to adjust inventory right away. So I want to make sure everything's good and good and correct, and I want to just actually get a good total of what I'm actually bringing for inventory so I know what we have to sell. I will try to disabuse myself of the notion of trying to make inventory in between the days of the festival. I have learned the hard way, whether it was the mall shows or whether it was Western MassCon, that I am just going to be too exhausted after a day of selling to even attempt to be able to replenish stock. I mean, even sometimes doing it at the events can get a little exhausting. Trying to crank out more cats or trying to crank out more frogs or whales or whatever. So, fortunately, I have a lot of chicken nuggets. I have a lot of baby whales and things that, like, the bodies are already ready to go. All I got to do is stuff them and close them up. So that's kind of my goal for this week, is to use up a lot of what I have in parts. I have a whole little red sack here of, like, parts and partials of items that I'm going to finish off and try to finish up as many as I can. And so I can have that in my inventory as well. Like I said, I think I'm almost good on the Asian foods I want to bring. I'm going to make some more rice balls and whatnot. And I have a pattern for a bowl of ramen, and I suspect it might be AI. I might have gotten bamboozled on that one. I don't want to list it or link it because I don't want to share something that's going to be not high quality. But I think I may try to make a little video later this week. I may attempt to make one for this weekend. So if I do that, I'm going to record a little bit of footage of me trying to make it so you can see along with me whether it's going to be any good or not. If it does turn out to be okay, and it does turn out to be what the picture shows, and I did do a little bit of Googling, and I can't seem to find this pattern in this picture elsewhere to see that it's been blatantly stolen. So I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt. But we'll see. If it does turn out to be good, then I can link and I can share it with you. But if it's not, then we will consign it to the bin, and maybe I'll salvage whatever I make. But there is a lot of AI crap out there. There's a lot of AI, not only stolen patterns, but patterns generated by AI. And AI doesn't know how to crochet. And AI doesn't know how to make, like, what their pattern in paper looks like in real. So, I try my best to steer clear of that. Excuse me. But it is getting harder and harder to avoid it. But yeah, so we'll have that later this week. In the meantime, I haven't really been reading anything, so I don't have any reading shout outs there. I did start an audiobook a couple weeks ago that I need to finish. It is, now I don't remember the name of it, but I will add it in editing. It is an Agatha Christie novel that was free. So that was pretty exciting. So yeah, I'll add in the name of it when I figure that out. And in the meantime, I will close with, yeah, I guess we will just end it. Here I am. My brain is already fluttering around. So yeah, so if you made it this far and you're not subscribed, why not subscribe and join us? That would really help. That would really do a lot for us. It's free. Like, share it with your friends. You can follow us on the socials. I am mostly active on Instagram, not so much on the others, but so that's a good place to stay in touch with us too. And I will see you in the next one, hopefully later this week. Bye.